what some would prefer to call a one-way traffic.
A continent whose resources ranging from material to human helped to build the West out of poverty to affluence from the 13th century up till today cannot be expected to continue to play second fiddle at the United Nations Security Council or in any international organization as from now. The Gambia remains resolute in her stance that the permanent and non-permanent membership categories of the Security Council should be equitably distributed regionally and expanded to conform to current geopolitical realities. The Gambia stands by Africa's demand for 2 permanent seats as well as 2 non-permanent seats as clearly articulated in the Essilvini Consensus and SIT declarations. For how long, Mr. President, will the international community continue to ignore the legitimate right and aspiration of a continent of 53 states, all members of the General Assembly? The calls have been very loud and very clear, but some Western powers continue to ignore them. This must end, or you will see a very dignified, determined and independent Africa assert her legitimate rights worldwide in her own way.
In this great period of transformation, nothing better narrates the world's darkest past to its triumph over colonialism and terrorism than Professor Jammeh's captivating story, which spanned over 20 minutes. It contrasts President Obama's threats and promises and strengthened President Dilma Rousseff's protests over state espionage, while justifying the Gambia's total rejection of homosexuality and acts associated with it.
We want a brighter future for humanity and the continuous existence of humanity on this planet. Therefore, we will never tolerate any agenda that clearly calls for human extinction. Mr. President,
world leaders were told to focus on the issue at hand and not to be drilled by this ever-growing taste for power and dominion. Conflict prevention should be at the heart of the world's most diverse body, said the Gambian leader, and the post-2015 development agenda must indeed set the world on a new path. The First Lady herself was in the midst of it all, beautifully gracing meetings with spouses of the attending delegates. The Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Fatou Lamin Faye, represented her in several meetings.
One was the STEM meeting. The STEM is the science, technology, and engineering and mathematics initiative. So there's a group that is advocating for girls to be in those areas, and they're looking for funding, creating opportunities for partnerships to be built so that girls can be supported to undertake courses in those areas.
Earlier during his intervention at the high-level meeting on the Sahel, President Jammeh did urge leaders not to allow the Sahel region to remain a sanctuary of insecurity and instability. Abdinjai, Grts.
Schools have reopened across the country, and many of the children will be preparing for yet another round of early morning travels to their schools. However, this year's school calendar comes with a windfall for student travelers, as the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education and the Gambia Transport Service Company agreed to provide buses at affordable cost for students in the Greater Banjul area. Aulu Mendi has more on that development.
Stepped up to alleviate it by reaching an agreement with the Gambia Transport Service Company. Mohamed Jallo, the Director of Planning at MOPSI, has more on what that agreement encompasses.
The agreement entails the provision of bus services, school bus services to take students to and from school. And you realize that the school bus service existed before, but after a while it stopped due to various logistical issues. So we agree that, as you realize, I think some months ago, through the support of the His Excellency President, they bought some new school buses, which is clearly marked, so that to restart this service.
The bus service will begin Monday the 30th of this month. A statement from the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education is saying the 8 buses will be on the road as early as 6 a.m. daily from Monday to Thursday to Saturday, and will provide service the whole day to cater for students in the afternoon shifts. To those suggesting 6 o'clock a.m. is too early, the answer is simple. Each bus is expected to make 3 trips each morning between 6 and 8 a.m.
At the moment, there are 8 buses available plying different routes. One is going from, I think one is going from Birkama to Banjul through Tabokoto. There is another one, that is bus number 2, which is coming from Birkama to Olyundum, Shinchu, going down to Banjul and back. The third bus is coming from Bakau, Banjul and Bakau. Bus number 4 is from Tabokoto to Banjul. Number 5 going from Tabokoto, going right out. As you realize, there are many schools around the GRTS area here. Yes. So there is bus going from Tabokoto right down to Greater Banjul. Here to cater for those students. Then there is another one from Sukuta to Banjul. Number 7 from Bakote High School down to Banjul and back, and then the bus number 8 is from Burfoot to Banjul. That will also go through Sukuta.
Charges for the buses are $5 only, $3 short of the fares paid on commercial taxi. News both parents and students are likely to embrace.
Like I said, the previous service, one of the reasons why it couldn't continue was the high costs. So we had to discuss with the Minister of Finance. And initially, the Minister of Education, the Minister of Finance themselves actually had discussion, and the Director of Budget at Finance is also very supportive in trying to provide a subvention to the ministry so that the costs of the service can be reduced. All right. Otherwise, if they want to charge like commercial fares, it's going to be expensive.
With the provision of school buses charging less compared to commercial taxi, both Education and the Ministry of Finance seem to have accomplished their part. It is now up to students and parents to utilize the rare opportunity accorded to them. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
After confiscating huge quantities of expired milk flour and processed cheese from the Jaya Selina Gambia Limited, officials of the Food Quality and Safety Authority, together with health officials and members of the Operation No Compromise, gathered to witness the disposal of the expired foodstuff. Abdullah Baji was at the scene of the exercise, and he has this report.
Into Jaya Salina Company Limited's processing of expired corn flour into cheese balls for sale to the public. Officials of the National Environment Agency, Food Quality and Safety Authority, including the Operation No Compromise, gathered to oversee the disposal of flour. After thorough investigation and inspection, officials came to the conclusion that the disposed foodstuff is unfit for consumption. The Deputy Director General, Food Quality and Safety Authority, under the Office of the Vice President, highlighted her office's desire to adequately regulate and ensure the availability of food which is fit for human consumption.
We are the Food Safety and Quality Authority. Is a newly established agency under the Office of the Vice President. It was established by an Act of Parliament that was passed in 2011. Our job is to make sure that the consumers have access to safe food, safe beverages, which includes water. But we're not only limited to the food we consume, but also to safe animal feed, because it is all a cycle. When the animals that we feed on, if we feed them feed that's not healthy, it can also have medium to long-term effects in us. So that is our job. The new act that is passed, we have in the act, Part 7, Section 28, where it talks about the food requirements and the feed requirements, and what happens if you don't meet these requirements. There are offenses and regulations given and fines. And our job is, as a regulatory institution, we go around, we are responsible for inspection and certification and registration of businesses that are involved in all kinds of food and feed production.
Jala seized the opportunity and urged people to be vigilant while assuring the public that such moves to rid the country of unfit foodstuff will be a continuous process.
It is very important because we want people to know that if you do the wrong thing, you'll become